talking basketball. They're fucking dumb as shit. They don't know basketball, but they will make dumb ass jokes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav. We are here. Free agency has basically wrapped up. A lot of wild shit has happened. It's been
wild shit.
It's been a fucking it's been a flurry of NBA action. We just had our if you're not a Patreon subscriber, we had our draft recap spectacular, which many people are saying, wow, just rebrand as a Knicks podcast. You literally only spent 10 minutes on the draft. You know, stuff like that. We're getting rave reviews like that.
Here's what I have to say.
I love you, Sam. We're saying another one. I love you, Sam, but I worry about your mental state more and more each week. That's another review of our draft. And if this is from Stav, back me down, but Sam slam it home. Steven Adams for Julius Randle could be the peak of Sam's mental illness. If you missed the pod before the big news that Steven Adams went to the Pelicans, Sam, without a hint of irony, pitched, what about Steven Adams for Julius Randle?
Okay, well, I got one for you, Stav. Remember 2 weeks ago when you said Zion is the center on that team?
Exactly. That's why it's wrong. That's why yes, I'm right. You and fucking David Griffin are both wrong. I don't like that fucking deal. I think they made a mistake in that deal, and we can talk about it and the basic, almost literally hundreds of moves that have happened.
I know. I feel bad that I've done the Knicks stuff in the past, so we should open with the biggest move of the free agency.
Sure,
Alfred Payton back to the Knicks in a 5-year deal. $5 million deal.
That's right. 1 year, $5 million. And let's not also forget the biggest center acquisition that's happened, Ed Davis, and also Nerlens Noel.
Conservative moves by the Knicks this year.
You know what? I have to say, I don't mind with this. Is so funny. I'm making fun of ourselves for talking Knicks too much on the draft podcast. I will say very quickly, it has warmed my heart that two other teams have decided to become the Knicks this offseason so that we didn't have to do it. And I want to give a big shout out to the Charlotte motherfucking Hornets for saving us from potentially getting Gordon Hayward. And then also the Detroit Pistons, who I have no fucking idea what they're doing to that roster.
The Hornets they signed Hayward.
It doesn't matter. And it's
I'll say
Hayward.
This about the Hornets, though. Let me say this.
Please do.
I don't like it, but I don't hate it.
You don't hate it? What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't hate it.
A horrific overpay, but this is what bad.
We're done. That's the end of it.
Here's the one thing I'll say. They're not on a timeline to win in the next 2 years anyway, so why not build the culture? He might improve the young guys, get some good habits going. You're not competing for anything anytime soon.
Everything you're saying,
you have to overpay first. It's a disgusting overpay. I'm grateful the Knicks didn't do it, but do I hate it? I mean, this is probably the most interesting Hornets team. They know they fucked up by doing this with Kemba.
No, dude. Underpaying. No, this is fucking crazy. I can't listen. If what you're saying, for everyone, sorry, we're gonna jump around a bit because so much has happened.
But the Hayward thing
we're gonna start here. We're gonna start here. Gordon
Okay.
Hayward signs to the New Orleans Hornet, or I'm sorry,
Charlotte.
To the Charlotte Hornets, for 4 years, $120 million fucking dollars. Gordon Hayward,
a lot in his prime, and he's not.
That's exactly my point.
Okay.
So there's layers to this. What you just said, in theory, right? Look, we had to overpay for somebody. He's maybe a $20 million player. We're paying him 30 because we can't get him to come to Charlotte. That's fine if this guy's timeline even sort of matches with your young guys. Or if you want to go older, and even if it's Gordon Hayward, that's fine if it's 3 years, fucking.
Well, the Knicks apparently wouldn't give him. It's a rare time the Knicks wouldn't overpay. I think they wanted 2 years with Hayward.
Exactly, and that would have been great. That's perfect. Listen, if you have cap space and you're a shitty team, give him 2 years. Give him $60 million for 2 years, right? Like that should have been enough.
That makes sense.
What he was
seeing. Him at 34. I agree with that. Him at 34. And
This is probably the only good year that they have on that contract. Let's be honest.
it is
That
some
it's
Bill Bradley level white privilege to get that
it's
contract.
insane. He's so like okay, he wasn't making this much for the Celtics, right?
Mhm.
So this would be crazy if he had come to the Celtics and was made an all-star team, or even was just thought of as
I
like
don't think he's ever going to be an all-star again. So that,
but that's what I'm saying. This would be an overpay.
Batum, another guy you signed to a stupid contract like this, never an all-star.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. You're getting him. He's 30. What is he? 31, right? So he's had injury after fucking injury. He never established himself. If you were getting a guy who was an all-star last year for this money for 4 years, I would say it's fucking stupid. Let alone a guy who hasn't been who's just been.
I hate the amount of money, but here's why I don't hate them signing him. And they have a lot of good young players on the Hornets. I hate to give it to him, but PJ Washington's good. LaMelo is very exciting if you get that player. Devontae Graham is a very good young player.
That's it. That's it. Those are the guys. They don't have a lot of good guys.
Those are
they have
three good young players.
Okay, and listen, I think there's some value to,
leadership to steer them right. That's all I'm saying.
I think there is
contract.
But Sam, the contract is fucking poisonous. That contract, if things are cooking, and if he sets up, whatever, this culture and all this shit, what do they do in 3 years? Also, you're thinking absolute best case scenario. I think it's just as likely that this could be fucking who the fuck was the
injured his whole career?
Who's the Memphis? I keep the guy from Memphis, Tyson Chandler. This could just as easily be. I think it's more likely this is Chandler Parsons than he's an all-star.
Parsons never reached the peak that Hayward has reached, so I don't think that's fair.
I'm just saying it could be
Parsons
as disastrous.
Is a second-round pick who overachieved and then got a fucking stupid contract he didn't deserve. Whereas
if he wasn't hurt
and he was healthy, looked very good last year.
Yeah, but when he was healthy is key.
17, 6, and 5. I mean, he's got Iggy type quality.
He's not worth $30 million a year if he's healthy. He's not going to be healthy, and he's not going to be that good 2 years into this contract.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead, please.
I hear Charlotte has a great police force.
Yeah. Yes. His wife, by the way, thanked the Boston Police Department on the way out.
I mean, it's very strange. Very strange involved. She didn't thank the community, really, but right. Nothing about the Boston fans, but she was like, the police have been very good to us.
We've had black teenager after black teenager try and play in our hoop, and the police were very, very gracious in getting them out.
That's why he grew the mustache. He wanted them to think he was.
I think he's one of them, part of the PD. So, look, he was trying to go to Indiana.
I was excited for him
for 100. Listen, 4 for 100 is a slight overpay. 25 million. I think he's a $20 million a year player. I wouldn't have been mad at all.
Van Vliet get 85. You're like, he's to me a more valuable piece than Hayward at this point.
I would much rather have Van Vliet at his age, his number.
At 120. I wouldn't pay him for 120.
But okay, that's a good. Okay, I'm not going to take the bait. But why didn't the Knicks make Why didn't the Knicks make $100 million offer Van Vliet? Why not?
I don't think he would have taken it. Do you think a
85 versus 100? You at least have to make it.
I think they should have made it, but I don't think he would have taken it. I think in terms of, I'm shocked they didn't try to retain Ibaka in Toronto. Like, that's a big loss. Ibaka's coming off a career year, looked great. His jump shots looking money. I know he's not as athletic and a rim protector as he once was, but he's I mean, the Clippers getting Ibaka and retaining my man Mook it's big.
It's big, and it single-handedly sort of saves their offseason, which was looking like absolute dog shit so far. But
I got a lot of messages saying they're sorry to me about Mook, and I appreciate it. I don't lie faithful. I also got people saying what happened to the gentleman's agreement. Him coming
That's
back
right.
That was only on the table if they won a chip in Los Angeles.
Right.
So that's why he didn't come back to the Knicks. As I showed Stav, he responded to one of my DMs again.
That's right.
And I said,
right.
I'm glad you got paid, blah, blah, blah. And he wrote back, love the Knicks. So the love is still there with Mook. There's proof that I showed Stav.
That's true. You did. And I won't say that you didn't. Anyway, so I just quickly let's talk before we get it. The Ibaka thing is big and the Clippers are big, but let's talk. So anyway, I hate this signing for the fuck. And listen, in the short term, I see where you're coming from. I think this year, maybe even next year, you want some vet leadership. Even though, did you
When you have
need?
a lot of young players in a questionable franchise, you have to overpay. I think.
Sure,
I
but
don't
let me.
like the. I agree, the money is too much, but I think having him, they are a much better team, and they're not going to win anyway. So you may as well develop LaMelo in these guys.
Sure, but I would. The other thing I would say is if you're going to use this much of your, this much money, this much of your assets, why not go after? I mean, why aren't they making a fucking? Why don't they crazy overpay Bojan Bogdanovic? Why aren't they signing him to a crazier
they
offer
have
sheet than the
guards.
Hawks?
They have guards.
Don't you think he's a 3?
I think it's a 2.
Anyway, or okay, fine.
They
That's
have too many guards. They got Rozier, LaMelo, and we've talked about this in Devontae.
I guess there's no centers, but if I were them, I would much rather spend the money on
Montrez.
I don't know. Yeah, actually, yes. That makes a lot more sense. Let LaMelo and him play pick and roll. He signed for what?
Don't you think Montrez wants to win though? Why else does he go to the Lakers on that contract?
He wants to win or he wants to get paid. I would if I was Trez, I would have much rather taken. Now he's not going to get $30 million, but 20 million a year.
The playoffs hurt his big payday that we thought he had coming.
Yeah,
after
for
winning
sure.
6th man of the year. Interesting that the Lakers take the 2 6th man of the year candidates in Schroeder and Montrez, but Montrez is just a fucking second unit monster.
Well, I think basically my point is a guy like that, a guy who plays good D, not, and I don't know how he would work with their front court exactly, but a guy that LaMelo could play pick and roll with that is, that, or Hayward kind of needs the ball in his hands a little bit. I think this year,
though, very good
passer. Look, it's not horrible.
Good passer,
I would like it a lot.
Shooter. He might be a nice addition. I know they overpaid. I'm not defending.
He'll be fine this year, but this conversation really gets ugly 2 years from now. And it's weird, man. I thought Jordan tried to sign him from his original restricted free agency when even Cleveland wanted him, where I thought Cleveland was going to try and get in on him. At least Cleveland's also being prudent. I just don't like this. This is the kind of move. And the other thing is, if they end up, the way they might have to pay for this is by stretching Batum, which means you have to eat I think he has 30 million left. That means you have to eat 9 million of his or 8 or 9 million of his salary for the next 3 years. So basically you're paying for Gordon Hayward $38 million a fucking year.
It's weird that Batum.
What the fuck is the point?
That was the same offseason. Isn't that
That's
weird?
That's crazy.
Those are 2 of the worst contracts in our lifetime, I think.
Yeah.
It's in the conversation. 2 guys who didn't even play.
Yeah. I mean, Batum sort of played.
For like a year.
No, he's playing.
Barely.
I think Batum could have since it's his last year, if he gets stretched or even if he gets waived.
It'd be great if he played his way into another huge contract.
Yeah. I don't see the Charlotte just signs him again for another 80 million. No, but I think he could be useful for a contender. He could be a buyout guy. Anyway,
I could hear that. Yeah.
The reason this is fun though, not only the Hornets making a bad move. Is it that fun? No, you have Michael Jordan who just likes Gordon Hayward for some reason. And you have Mitch Kupchak's old ass still fucking being a GM and, making fucking stupid moves. What's really fun about this
is their biggest free agent signing ever.
Yeah, probably since Al Jefferson. Remember when they got Big Al?
It might be bigger, dude.
No, it's bigger.
I think this is
definitely money-wise.
This is their biggest free agency signing ever. It's like, when you're a shitty, historically losing franchise in not a bad market, but not an amazing market,
it's a bad market.
It's a bad market. Yeah. Okay. So I was trying to dance around it,
but fuck Charlotte.
But
it's like I had some very good.
I mean, that's what I said about the Knicks. If you want to come to the Knicks right now, we have to overpay because we haven't proven to be a good culture lately. So you got to, and same with Charlotte, man.
Yeah, that's true. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. The bottom of, and listen, like you said, they're better. They might. I don't think they're going to even make the playoffs, but they might make the fucking play in. Who knows?
The Knicks, might be the worst team in the East right now.
Yes. That might be true.
Maybe we're better than Detroit. But no, I mean, dude, we're bad. And the Hawks you brought up the Hawks. They've gotten better.
Well, I want it before we get into any of that. I want
Yeah.
the flip side of the Gordon Hayward stuff. Why it's very delicious to talk about it. It's not. I don't really have it that much. I'm not happy to see the Hornets make a bad decision. I like the Hornets. Whatever they got,
Why?
LaMelo.
Why do you
I
like
think.
the Hornets?
I think I root for shitty teams, especially when they have something exciting happening, and also because let's be honest, their jerseys rocked. And as a little kid, those Charlotte Hornets jerseys were fucking everywhere, and they were cool.
I love Bogues and LJ. I was just never a morning guy.
Right.
You
Of
fucking
course.
disrespect Patrick Ewing. You
We've
disrespect.
been over it, Sam.
You better wake up and apologize.
The point is why this is great. Who I do root for, who I do root against, and who I am always happy to see fail is Danny Ainge. And this is yet another because Gordon Hayward is from Indiana. He had a deal on stuff was being leaked. You don't get the contract details 4 for $100 unless it's like this shit is really close to happening. And the reports that I saw, and there's so much shit going on. You check your Twitter, you check, you read The Athletic, you read Bleacher Report, all this stuff. The reports that I saw, and it all melts together, so I'm sorry for not crediting whoever the fuck was reporting on it, was that they had a sign and trade like the framework of the sign and trade that the Pacers wanted to do was Miles Turner and Doug McDermott. And for Gordon Hayward. So who, by the way, Miles Turner, great fit for the Celtics, in my opinion.
Everyone
great fit.
They ended up with Tristan Thompson, who they're very happy with.
Who's fine.
He's going to get you boards. He's going to get you some blocks.
He's not that good of rim protector anymore.
He's overrated. He's an
Definitely
overrated tough guy.
Is he even better than Tice at this point? Is a legitimate question.
So.
I don't know that he is.
I kind of like Tice. I like Baines even better. And I don't love it. And Turner, you're right, would have been such a interesting fit because they've got the toughness of like Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown. Then you add a guy who can block shots and hit.
He can actually block shots. Now he's not a great rebounder, so maybe that was what fucking scared him off. But great fit for them. Same timeline. Great rim protector. Danny Ainge's bitch ass got too greedy. Apparently was asking for Oladipo and Turner, which is hysterical.
It doesn't even make sense on their team. You got Marcus Smart, who fits the team so well. I'll give Ainge this. He's great at getting picks. He's not good at retaining people. You lost.
Exactly. You know what? This fucking cocksucker is like, and when he made the Kyrie trade, and even Tatum and Brown. And listen, Tatum was a genius move, trading down for the guy you want, and you get a pick. Smart. He knows what he's doing. Fine. But here's the thing. He also wanted to trade a lot of those picks for Justice fucking Winslow, right? And no one talks about that. Charlotte's MJ saved him from himself. Because MJ wanted Frank Kaminsky so bad that it saved the Celtics.
Unreal.
Anyway, all this fucking idiot did was get lucky that some fucking piece of Russian trash wanted to spend big. He caught the reason they got all those Nets picks was because fucking that oligarch who's that fucking Putin's friend who used to own Prokhorov was dude, fuck it. I don't give a fuck about first round picks.
Had he just wanted the shiny objects
exactly. And Ainge took advantage of that. And by the way, Billy King was he just took advantage of two dumbasses.
And I fucking hate the Celtics and I hate Ainge, but you got to give him this. He is a heartless motherfucker, and that comes in big because you got to be heartless to get rid of Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett.
Well, exactly, but this is
even more heartless to get rid of
Isaiah
the way he did Isaiah.
And that's why I'm
at least with Pierce and Garnett, you had like the fucking at least the guys of like you could win another ring. I'm kind of doing it for you. You're not, dude. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you.
And to be fair, Garnett had a no trade clause, so he had to approve the trade. And whatever that's all. But
deep down, kind of wanted to retire a Celtic like Dirk.
For sure, he did. I think that was That was completely fucked up. But that's what I'm saying. I think this is all fucking karma. This fucking piece of shit, especially the Isaiah Thomas shit. He's lost Kyrie. He's lost Al Horford. He's lost fucking Gordon Hayward. All for max fucking all-stars for nothing. No sign-in trades. No nothing. And you know what? Good. And it fucking warms my heart to see them fail.
The good and the bad. Sign Marcus Smart to, I think, a very good deal. You said,
he's draft good.
As you said, pick Jaylen Brown. he's done a good job.
He's done.
I
He's
just like
not
to
a
point out where
horrible
he's done a
GM.
bad job.
He's not a bad GM, but it's really nice to see him fail.
I know,
Because
but
the thing
as
is,
Knicks fans, we are kind of calling the we're kind of calling the kettle fucking.
yeah, we're tossing. We don't live in a glass house. We're taking shelter behind one pane of glass that we've leaned up against the wall, and we're throwing a bunch of fucking rocks right now. That's what we're doing. It would be nice to even have a glass house, but. The point is, fuck the Celtics, fuck Danny Ainge. I'm very happy his dumbass could not turn this. I mean, why wouldn't you want? I mean, Turner's perfect for them.
Up.
And listen,
and also they want
McDermott the best.
Clearly.
No, he's not the best, but they fucked up so bad, and it makes me very happy to see that.
Well, can we switch this to a feel good story? This makes me happy. What's going on in Portland?
Great offseason. One of my favorite fucking offseasons. And
you brought in
maybe the best
fucking
one.
Knicks. You brought in Ennis and fucking Carmelo, as if I didn't already love Portland.
Those are the ones you're starting with.
Okay,
Carmelo.
Well, okay, look, Rodney Hood was a big. I mean, signing Rodney Hood back is a big move for them because he was very valuable in the playoffs year they beat the Nuggets. So that's a big piece. Obviously, Covington's the move.
Covington, huge move for them.
We already talked about that a bit, but that fits on the Patreon. That fits what Melo and CJ, I mean, fucking Dame and CJ, sorry, fits what they do so well. A healthy Nurkic, healthy Zach Collins, hopefully. I mean, the Portland Trailblazers could sneak by some people with their depth.
Well, I mean, Derrick Jones Jr., Robert Covington.
That's another one, yeah.
Derrick Jones Jr. is huge for them.
He's
athletic, great defender.
They need some guard depth though right now. They got Gary Trent, I guess, still, right?
They got Gary Trent. Anthony Simons continues to be somebody that's young, that they were, they were hoping that he could be like, their MPJ. Like he was that kind of like, I mean, I know it's crazy to think about it now, but look at some of the pieces written about Simons last year where it was like, they really wanted him to be, he
had moments.
This guy.
He had flat. I'd watch.
So I think they're going to continue. They're going to continue to.
But they have the exact
develop him
problem as they did last year, and I love that Portland is like, Dame believes in us. Let's fucking show that we believe in them, and they're not breaking up this nucleus. CJ, I hope is another big year. Nurkic deserves to be healthy. I love the Bosnian beast. So happy
and also they just signed Harry Giles too, which is, I mean.
Underrated.
The roster's
Get that
really
guy
good,
out of
man.
That toxic Sacramento franchise.
Absolutely.
And he's a dude who showed so much promise as a young player in Sacramento, but he kind of lost minutes behind other guys. I believe it was DeMarcus Cousins and Willie Cauley-Stein and everyone they had. So let him get some minutes on a team and like in a good culture where a guy like Dame believes in you.
Exactly. Giles has a nice pedigree. He was like the number 2 prospect out of his class.
Yeah.
And then he got injured. And then, like you said, bad situation with the Kings. So I like this, man. I know
Kings fans who were like pissed to lose him. They loved him out of the gate.
Yeah. So that's a really great move. I will say something that it's taken me too long to address because of the last time we had a fucking show. I was thrilled about the Bucks trading for Drew Holiday and also Bogdanovich. And I have to say, I just think the Bucks GM just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, man. Because these are just like
a week after you were like, this dude's finally figured it out.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, dude. I was like, he's fucking did it. Because you know what? You don't leak shit like this leaking and not getting done. Yeah. That is a sign that's a sign of unprofessionalism. Now, look, they were dealing with the Kings, so maybe it was the King. But from everything that we've been told, or for everything that's been reported, Bogdanovich wasn't making enough money because the Bucks were hard capped, and they're hard capped because of salary mismanagement, which is the fucking GM's fault. And not only that, but some of these fucking moves that they made since. So look, Bogdanovich is gone, right? We're not getting Bogdanovich.
That
whatever.
Giannis has got to be fucking angry.
Exactly. So on some level, I'm like, all right, well maybe because I'm still look. Milwaukee's a nice city.
DiVincenzo right now, you're like, thanks.
Right, exactly. Although if you're Dante, you're going to get the chance to start. It seems like, but the point is, they don't have that much. So on one hand, it's like, fuck, Bogdanovich is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, even though he's gone, they would have had to do all minimum guys except for their starting five, right? So maybe this is like a silver lining. They can fucking.
They added a couple guys on the bench now too.
Well, the fucking guys they added don't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
It's like they've done a really fucking horrific job. DJ Augustine, 3 for 21, 3 years for DJ Augustine.
Disagree.
Come on, dude. He's a little guard, $21 million.
Who can finally they have a point guard who can shoot a three. Not a bad move at all. Disagree.
Dude, 3 years for DJ Augustine. Like
3 years is a lot, but it's also
and 21 million is a lot of fucking money for DJ Augustine, in my opinion.
I think he's gonna play big minutes. I think DJ. I watched him play. I think he's a good player. I like the guy. I think
he's not a bad he's not a bad player, but what I'm saying is they have very limited resources, right? So fine, Augustine fills a role even though he's a little guard and he doesn't give
him on the Knicks, honestly.
He wouldn't have been that makes a lot more sense than on the Bucks, right? And listen, the Knicks want to pay him $20 million, fine, but the Bucks don't have that much fucking cap space. Then here's the one that really fucking killed me. Another Knicks tie-in. Bobby Portis for $5 million? What the fuck is going on?
Thrilled.
Why?
Get him off the
Why?
Here's what's good about
he's
Bobby
not a minimum player.
Here's what's good about Bobby
I'm choking
Portis.
on this.
Here's what's good about Bobby Portis in the playoffs. That dude will fucking be a goon. He will hit someone.
Yeah, okay, fine. But $5 million. You telling me that guy's not a minimum player with the fucking big market right now? What the fuck does Bobby Portis do for you if you're the Bucks?
I'll tell you, he had one great game against the Bulls, and every other game as a Knicks fan, I was like, "What is he doing?" He was driving.
Yeah.
So
now
I'm glad he's not. I'm glad I'm not having to root for more veterans taking minutes away from young guys.
I mean, dude, it's just like he's not. First of all, he doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean. Where does he even play? Where does he fit? Is he gonna close games for us for the Bucks? No, he's not. So why the fuck are you paying him $5 million where you don't have any fucking money? Yeah. Now they've made a couple.
Losing out on Bogey is, I think, the difference in them going to the next level.
Well, they should have been scouring for minimum guys, and I mean this is where it hurts you to be Milwaukee, right? Because Jeff Green signed a minimum contract for the Nets, right? I think, listen, Jeff Green, that's exactly the kind of guy the Bucks should be, looking through the scrap heap for.
Guy, sure. I hear you.
Who else? Even something like Raul Neto signed a minimum for the Wiz. He's fine. I would rather have him on a minimum than Augustine for 3 for 21. Kenny Wooten, our guy.
John Wall said, "Get me the fuck out of Washington." Hilarious that like a year ago, he's like Brad. I think he's also surprised that this is Bradley Beal's team now, which is like you've been gone 2 years, dude.
Right.
What do you expect?
100%. Yeah, John Wall's like in Billy Madison. He's coming back to high school in his T-Bird with his fucking leather jacket, and it's like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Bradley Beal's cool now. I want to say real quick, I do want to give John Horst a little credit here because for everything I said about Portis and Augustine, which I still don't make sense, and also
Augustine's a better pick than you think.
He's better, but he's been in the league forever, 3 years. Anyway,
veteran, can shoot the three. You guys, dude, when you have a guy who can just hit an open shot with Giannis, it's so valuable.
Listen, losing Wes Matthews, which is a really good pickup for the Lakers. Wes was a minimum guy last year. Why the fuck can't they get guys like that? Why can't they get that? Might be the best offseason if we're thinking about it. But so they did sign 2 good signings. Bryn Forbes from the Spurs. He signed a 2-year deal with
fairly young guy. He's 27 or 28.
Good player. Exactly the kind of that's the kind of guy that I'm happy to, he's a really good shooter. Again, I think he's a 40%. 40% from deep. And also actually a really good one is Torrey Craig that the Nuggets did not put the qualifying offer for.
They were upset to lose him according to Woj.
That's fucking bullshit spin because they could have signed him. They just didn't even give him his qualifying offer.
Off-season, dude. The Nuggets
do not like what the Nuggets have done.
Don't like it at all. You were in a great position. If they somehow could have pulled off a move for Blake, I would have loved it. But they couldn't. They lost Jeremy Grant. That was the one dude you had to go out and sign.
He needed him. You needed that guy to play, to guard LeBron, basically. You needed that guy to guard those big
If the Lakers
creators.
Closed out this free agency by adding Gasol, they have won it so hard.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Denver, but we can also transition to talking about what I said.
And there's one guy I want to talk about that I'm fucking pissed about.
An offseason I don't understand. It's because Denver's offseason goes hand in hand with Detroit's, which I do not understand whatsoever. So Detroit basically just took Mason Plumlee and Jeremy Grant. They just paid like 60 million. Like
I don't
they
get why Jeremy Grant wants to play in Detroit.
and the Nuggets offered him the same money. They offered him the exact same money.
Does he
And
think he's going to be an all-star in the East? I mean,
that's
I don't know.
from what I read, it's that he wanted a bigger role. He wanted the ball in his hands more, which is fucking crazy. I don't get that. It's like
He's
you're in
got
a
an
great
ego. I remember seeing an interview and they were like, "Who's the best in the Grant family?" And he's like, "Me." And I'm like, I feel like you should have.
Yeah.
Like,
How about Horace?
I feel like that was
How
like
about your
made for a
uncle?
volley.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'll say it's me. And I was like, all right. I mean, Horace was a fucking beast, dude.
Yeah, 3 years for 60 million, which I don't mind the contract for Jeremy Grant. That skill set, especially if he had stayed with especially if he had
He's a modern
stayed,
man for sure.
whatever. But why is Detroit doing this?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Also, and listen, we didn't talk about him enough because we didn't during the draft thing, but I thought Killian Hayes was a really nice pickup for Detroit. And I think he's the guy who needs the ball in his hands. Similar to LaMelo, to me, it's like, why make these like veterans who need the ball signings when
You're signing the wrong type of veteran for your youth.
Exactly. You're going to be shit. You don't need these. You don't need a guy whose skills. I mean, Jeremy Grant is so much more valuable to a contender because
Blake
you can
going?
throw
You
him.
can't have all these bigs. It doesn't make sense. Where are they going to send Blake? Is the next question.
I don't think they can send him anywhere, bro.
Because money's too big.
Money's too big. I think Blake has to. I think if Blake gets on the court and shows that he is, if he is the player that he was, 2 years ago when he got hurt at the very end of that year, where he was All NBA. I think he made All NBA third team that year. They can move him.
Yeah.
He was an all-star. But I just don't really understand what the fuck they're doing. And not only that, they also
there's a lot of good power forwards right now.
Well, they signed Plumlee to, I think it was a $25 million deal. I don't know. And here's the thing: why sign Plumlee and let Christian Wood go, who was their guy, and they let him go to?
And it's similar money. It was like 40.
And not only this, they signed Jaleel Okafor. What the fuck is going on?
Every fucking big man.
What the fuck is going on? Yeah, exactly. Thank God that the Pistons are this offseason's Knicks. The Pistons and the Hornets combined.
The Knicks were very conservative.
Yeah.
Alex Burks. I mean, just guys that are just.
And not only that, we joked about at the top of the podcast about Ed Davis, but you know what? You take other teams. You take on other teams extra money that they need. They need somewhere to park someone. They need to get rid of a contract. They need to stay under the luxury tax. You take their money. You take that salary and you get a draft pick for it. That's exactly what the Knicks should be doing.
Not only that, dude. I agree, and not only that, this is the year to suck, right?
Exactly.
If we draft next year, it's going to be a shortened season. It's there are no live games, so you're just bombing on fucking MSG. You're not
right.
And then I don't mind it, and also play the young guys. I've always said play the fucking young guys. I was annoyed that you signed all these guys minus Mook, who I fucking will always love.
Of course,
gentleman, and that's why he made a gentleman's agreement. But it's tough, man. So I'm excited to see RJ really develop, really be like, okay, bigger role. I'm excited to see Obi Toppin. I will say I really wanted Rondo. I wish the Knicks offered 2 years, $20 million to counter the Hawks. 2 years, 15.
No.
Playoff Rondo.
Okay, what about regular season on a fucking 2-19 team Rondo? You think that's
the problem is? Rondo was like a really heady player. Rondo was like an alt comic in a casino. That's what he would have been for the Knicks. We would have been like, look, I appreciate what you're doing, but this is like you're too smart for this crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Rondo. That's I did not want him. And Hawks.
I just love Rondo. He's just one of those guys I just love.
Yeah, of course, but it just doesn't make sense. And in fact, I don't really understand why the Hawks. I mean, I guess I understand in theory.
No, it's a great pick.
It's not great. Rondo's not a great pick.
2 years, $20 million. They need defense. They are a potential playoff team.
I think this year I can see why people would be excited about the Atlanta Hawks. And let's recap their biggest thing that they've done so far is they get Danilo Gallinari. They have him on a multi-year deal. Then they added
Yeah.
and they added Rondo, and it looks like they're going to make a play for Bogdanovich.
And they've got Capella, and they got that rookie.
Okongwu.
Yeah, and they've made moves, dude. I gotta give it up. I gotta.
And
tip the
I
hat to
think
the Hawks.
I think
I
what
want
we
Gallo.
Yeah. Oh my God, give us Gallo for sure. Exactly. But I guess listen, the Hawks I think are going to make the playoffs. I think this is the year to get excited about them, whereas last year they just had too many young guys. But I still think this doesn't look good for John Collins, in my opinion.
Getting Gallo.
Just Gallo, the front court is loaded, and
a similar need is that they're both bigs who can score.
But you know what? The Hawks they don't have to trade him this year. And I think the Hawks will see what they have with everybody. And this will be a very interesting. Now, look, these signings also feel a little rushed to me, right? Like Trae Young apparently is like already complaining about the guys around him, which is like, bro, it's your second fucking year. Relax.
I know, but you know what the problem is? He's looking at Luka, who already got because they're gonna get compared forever.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, so he's looking at Luka and he's like, Luka got Porzingis. Why don't I? He's like on the phone with your agent and someone in your class you came up with, like, well, this guy got fucking Fallon. Why aren't I on?
Right,
That's what Trae is looking at. He's like, I averaged 29 a game as a second-year player, and his agent.
Yeah, but you're a
you
complete
didn't play defense and you didn't have a good record. And he's like, but still, I have.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That is the thing about Trae. It's like complete zero. That's why I think Collins doesn't really make sense, especially when like you said, if you have Gallo around there. But okay, Rondo is not a bad signing, because they, apparently because you need a backup. They just had no one. They had nobody to back up Trae Young. Last year, their offense fell off a fucking cliff when he was off the court. So look, that's fine. I just don't know if Rondo is going to give a fuck. And the idea that he's like a great locker room guy, he's a great locker room guy when LeBron James is there and it's fucking you're competing for a championship. Is he going to be a great?
Are they going to compete or not? That's what you're right. It comes down to a lot. They're interesting. They're like they're a good video game team. I don't know if they
very good video game team. Very fun video game team.
But
especially if they get Bogdanovich.
I gotta say this. I'm shocked. I'm thinking about the Raptors next year. You're losing Ibaka. You're losing Gasol. It's a little weird. Lowry's great, but he's another year older. It's a little weird that Van Vliet commit long term to them. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, if you're Van Vliet, you also have to think about look, this is
this team broke me.
I won a championship here. I have loyalty to this team. I know I can succeed here. At the end of the day, he still is a 6-foot guard. You know what I mean? You trust the coach, the system. If I was Van, right. It's like, and here's the thing, commit to them. It's Masai. He's shown you have to trust that guy. Would you rather be with Masai? Or would you rather be with the Knicks who swear it's different this time? You know what I mean? And also if you're Van Vliet
or Chris Brown,
100%.
Come back, baby.
Yeah,
you know me.
So, but I am a little, and I think it's probably hurting. Hurting Toronto is that they have to play in Tampa this year. I bet you, Serge Ibaka's like, I'm gonna have to get a fucking condo in Tampa.
No.
Fuck that.
This is how you sell Serge. You say, Serge, do you know where every porno is filmed? Right here, next to the stadium.
The Serge Striker is a horny guy. I will give the Clippers this: probably the biggest penis added to a team. Serge has a monster. So
does he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some picture years ago when he was dating Carrie Hilson that you could really see this man's penis through his sweatpants. And so salute to the Clippers for adding the largest hog.
I wonder if he was like, I want to play with Kawhi again. I wonder if that had any role.
I think that absolutely helped. And you know what? I have to say for the Clippers, that really helps because look, Trez clearly left for the Lakers because he just didn't fuck with the culture there. He didn't like
Pat Bev who saw it on Twitter and was like, what?
Yeah. Pat Bev was like, what the fuck? I retweeted that on the account. I think he clearly did not like I think he really liked the vibes of the team before that took the Warriors to 6.
He
I think
clearly
he
liked
liked
playing with Lou Will. They had a
he
great.
like they were. I mean, they had a great pick and roll combo. They were awesome together. But I think clearly he didn't like the vibes, right? And
Was it Paul
Serge,
George or was it Kawhi? Do you
it was
think?
one of those two, I think, for sure,
I
right?
think it's Paul
Or
George.
both. I mean,
Maybe
it could have
both.
been. But here's the thing:
He
you
seemed to
get
not love the load management.
right. But you bring in Serge, you bring in a guy who is probably pretty well respected. He's a champion. This guy's been playing in finals and big games since, probably half the team wasn't in the league from
Oh
that
my
Oklahoma
God, yeah.
City
And he can
team.
shoot the three.
He can shoot the three.
He fits their team better. Listen to this
In a lot of
defensive
ways,
lineup, dude.
yeah,
Pat
he's an
Bev,
upgrade.
Pat Bev, Mook, Kawhi, PG, Ibaka, all can play defense. All can
It's
hit
really
an open
nice.
three.
That's really nice.
Team.
And in a lot of ways on the court, he's an upgrade over Trez for what that particular team needs, right?
Of course.
But also in a much bigger way because what
Ibaka
fucks this
fits
team.
more teams. He's a more valuable type of player. Trez is more in his prime, of course, but Ibaka fits.
Yeah,
what you're trying to do.
Definitely
having a big who can knock down an open three.
Exactly,
And rim protect.
A backup that has that skill set. We talk about all the time. The modern NBA center skill set.
Is he not starting? You're starting.
No, he's not starting. Zubac is starting for sure.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Ibaka didn't even really start last. He didn't really start that much last year.
If I'm coaching, he's playing in the fourth though.
Yeah, he might close games for sure, but that's what I'm saying. You gotta preserve that motherfucker. He's old as fuck. Yeah. But my point is, it's an even bigger upgrade culture-wise because you have a guy who clearly likes Kawhi, won a championship with him. You have a guy that's well-respected, who seems to be like a positive rah-rah team guy. And I don't know. I just think it's really good for them, and it saves them for having a catastrophic offseason, which basically all they did was bring back Mook before this, and then they lost a bunch of guys. They lost JaMychal Green, who actually went to he went to the Nuggets. And I actually think that's a nice one for he kind of gives you.
Grant was so damn valuable. I mean,
I know, but that's a good move to sort of replace a little bit of what Grant gives you, and he's much cheaper. 2 years, $15 million as opposed to $20 million a year. Although I think they would have been happy to pay that for Grant. But
a lot of big news. I mean, do you see Donovan Mitchell to a 5-year max?
And we talked Sacramento. There as the one good thing they did was sign De'Aaron Fox to that.
Are you surprised that he got locked into that, or
no? Not at all. I think this is to me reminiscent of last offseason. I think a good comp is the Murray deal, where at the time people were like, "Whoa, Denver's paying Murray as much as Ben Simmons is making," and I think the Nuggets were like, "We're betting on our guy. We think he will become worth this money." And I will say that about Swipa, right? Like I fucking love that guy. He's one of my favorite players in the league, and I think is he right now worth a max?
No,
right now, no, but he's gonna grow into it. He's he's just an incredible athlete. He's a really good point guard, and yeah, go ahead.
Starting a team, Jamal Murray or Ben Simmons.
Interesting.
That's tough. Jamal Murray looks like a fucking beast.
I might say Ben Simmons, honestly.
So, okay, how about this? Murray and Jokic or Simmons and Embiid?
Oh, wow. Very interesting.
I go Murray.
I would take Murray Jokic.
Yeah. So
Murray Jokic.
You value, is it the compatibility?
It's compatibility and durability. Embiid is hurt a lot. Let's be honest, and he's the kind of guy.
Embiid is the best big, other than
never seen him other than yeah. So
But Jokic is a fucking killer, though.
Absolutely. So yeah, big pickup for the Clippers, and like we said, they didn't really do much but lose people. They lost Trez.
They retained Mook and they got Ibaka. Those were the big moves. They didn't add any guards. What happened with
they brought back Patrick Patterson, who cares really? It's good for them, but yeah, there's there's been so many fucking crazy moves. Utah, if we want to talk about them real fast, Clarkson at a big contract, which
52 mil. Is that, what do you think of that?
For basically being an off the bench scorer,
You don't love it.
I don't love it. I mean, I think just a little high, just a little high.
A little high. 48 you would have been happier with because that was a similar.
Yeah, maybe. But even then, it's like I think you can replace Jordan. I guess 4 years is what I don't understand. Like,
He's a proven bucket off the bench, though. I think he's been pretty good for Utah.
and you know what? There's some value to continuity, and they're like, this is our guy. We want to stick. He is our off the bench scorer. We like him. We want to stick with him. And I think they signed Donovan Mitchell. They have a decision to make with Gobert. It's like, what do they do? But another
What's
big
that
move.
decision? Why you think he's not long term part of?
Well, they have to re-sign him, and he's technically available, eligible for the Supermax because of winning Defensive Player of the Year twice. But I don't think he's worth the Supermax, and they have to decide: is he worth the same as Donovan Mitchell? Is he worth paying more than Donovan Mitchell? Is he going to be happy not getting the Supermax? Is he long term? Can you win a championship? I don't know. They just have
think
some.
It's hard to give one-way players the Supermax.
He's not going to get the Supermax. There's no chance about that. So it's a matter of what do they pay him?
No chance.
No
really?
chance.
He's
No
two-time-
chance.
I think his agent says this guy's the. I think the agent goes he's
Zero-
the best defensive player in the league.
0% chance
No?
they give him the Supermax. 0% chance. I would be. I mean, they're also. I mean, who knows? They got that new owner who maybe he's a dumbass and he's willing to throw money around. But that's. I think if you give Rudy Gobert the Supermax, you give Giannis the Supermax. You give fucking KD the Supermax. You don't give it to fucking, Rudy Gobert.
Well, speaking of big deals, what do you think of my man, the Latvian Laser?
That's a big one. I
Five-
also want. Let me finish sucking off
Latvian-
Utah real fast.
Latvian
Sorry.
Jake Busey.
What's that?
Looking like Latvian Jake Busey in that fucking signing picture.
Yeah, that's a good one. I wanted to real quick suck off Utah because I don't want our fans to say we only talk about the Knicks and big markets. They also brought back Derek Favors, which I thought was a really good move. He went to. I think that's a really good move. I think you underrate Favors a little bit.
I think I do. 'Cause I think he was kind of only an offensive player when he came.
No,
into
you're
the league.
wrong. No, he's a good defender.
No, he is now, but I don't think he was when he came into the league. I think he was a big body.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you actually, but he certainly is a really good defensive force. And are they going to start him like they used to? Probably not. But
No.
as a backup,
If you have a
to
healthy
shore up.
Bogdanovich and a healthy Ingles, you start them. I think.
Right. And that was, but I think people realized everyone was like the problem with you 2 years ago. Everyone was like the problem with Utah is they have Favors and Gobert, and that just fucks up the offense. And while that was probably true, people also didn't realize how good that made their defense. And I think now as a guy who's coming in, who can sometimes, in the playoffs, what do we talk about all the time? There's these bigs. You need Anthony Davis, someone to guard Anthony Davis, someone to guard a center if the Lakers are playing that way.
Can anyone even guard Anthony Davis?
No, but I'm just saying if it calls for it, they have two very serviceable big men to play at the same
That's
time.
fair.
But if it
Go at
doesn't,
them.
if it doesn't, he's a really good backup center to make sure that because Utah was trash defensively when Gobert was on the bench this season. And so having him there, I think they were expecting Ed Davis to fucking fill in that role. He didn't do it. And we got him now. The Knicks have him, and Favors is back. Very good rebounder, very good defensive player. So I really like that. And, the Jazz, again, something to continuity. There's something to continuity.
There's something to it. Some quiet moves.
Oh, another funny move. You were talking about the Latvian Laser. I think that's fine. I mean, Washington was always going to
Good
pay
shooter.
him.
I like it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not done a horrible job, but we'll see what they do for John Wall. That'll be interesting.
That'll be very interesting.
I don't think he can stick it out. I think he's shown some leadership issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable player when he's healthy, but
Yeah.
I don't love some of the characters.
I mean, he was an unbelievable player,
He's
but
got some little dick energy around Bradley Beal. Am I wrong?
I think he's got some busts early energy. He's a big penis that busts early. If I were to call it.
I feel like he's got a big dick, but then he looks in the locker room and Bradley Beal's dick is slightly bigger and he gets really mad.
It's just nicer. It's the same size, but it looks nicer.
It's circumcised.
It's no, how dare you? No, I won't.
Circumcised bias.
I won't take this Judeo-Christian circumcision bias, okay? as a proud Orthodox Mediterranean man. One of my friends called me to ask me that him and his wife were debating whether to circumcise their son or not. And I was like, absolutely not. You can't
Really?
do that hate crime. You can't butcher that poor child's penis.
It is weird when the mohel, when he circumcises the baby and they put like a dab of wine and you're like,
Yeah.
maybe that's how you get the kid hooked on booze, man.
Yeah.
That first sip, you're like, fuck, this helped pain the first time, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you just associate that with pain in your cock is drinking soothing cock pain is by drinking some wine. Yeah.
It's cute to see a baby get like a tiny bit buzzed too.
A baby getting fucked up is pretty good, I would have to admit. But do you want to talk about the some of our other favorite moves? I mean, Blazers to me, in terms of rooting for them and smart moves, some of the best fucking moves.
They just have a lot of depth now, and like hopefully that can take some of the pressure off Dame, who's
some defense,
who's taken years off his career. I mean, like they had players who I didn't think were like the right fit, but they did have guys who played really good D like 2 years ago when they had guys like Aminu and Evan Turner and shit who played hard, and I feel like they really got away from that last year, and I think they're getting back to it. And I'm just happy to see Melo and Enes Kanter, back together.
Yeah, of course.
They never played together, so it's like
the big reunion everybody's been waiting for. You just want to see guys that at one point played for the Knicks hang out. You're like, I want to see
what it's all about. I mean, the Knicks fuck up so many people's careers. I'm just happy to see them get back on track. It's almost like the Knicks are like McConaughey's like 10 years of rom-coms, and then then he goes to Portland, and I'm like, oh shit, Interstellar. This is
cool. Interstellar and
Dallas
fucking
Buyers
True
Club.
Detective. Yeah. You just want Ron Baker to be hanging out with Ignious Brzdakis or whatever the fuck that guy's name was.
Ron Baker, man.
Yeah, shouts out to we're part of the Baker's Dozen. We tried to make that. We pitched that when we were working at MSG as the Baker's Dozen should be his fan club's name.
We also pitched Whip Out Your Enos.
Whip Out Your Enos. They did not like that one either.
Didn't go for that.
So
speaking of, I got to do once we're on the Knicks, and I won't go back. I promise. Did you see the Obi Toppin and the Latrell Sprewell little kid picture?
No, I didn't.
Because he's a Bushwick kid. There's a picture of him as like a little kid in a Sprewell jersey. It's the cutest shit I've ever seen. And I got to say, it's all I needed to be fully committed to this kid. Dude, I'll post it from the Pod Don't Lie Instagram. It's
you should.
insane.
You should.
It's insanely cute.
Yes, I love that. And since
he looks like Baby Yoda, he's so tiny. He's just
I can see that. That's adorable. Since we briefly mentioned the Knicks, the other thing, the Alec Burks signing is again solid. They've done a lot of like little moves. Fine guards. We need guards. He's fine. What is it?
Get like super excited about, but also not a lot to be like fuck, and that's kind of bigger. Knicks fans need to be patient. You need a real rebuild, and I just hope that RJ, Mitch, and Obi show some signs, and I hope Ntilikina shows some signs because I'm not ready to give up on Frankie.
Yeah, no, me neither. And I mean, I think it's not going to be with us, but I do think he'll have a career.
Becomes a fucking NBA champion and all-star with San Antonio at some point.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Knox,
I hope Kevin Knox becomes like a real dead-eye shooter because I think he showed signs and then just cooled off. So I hope.
Yeah. So some other interesting stuff going on. Avery Bradley signed with the Heat. He goes from winning a ring with the Lakers, although not actually being there, to playing for the team they beat. So that's an interesting.
Totally a Miami guy. That type of
Miami guy. I think that makes sense. They also re-signed Dragic. They did lose Jay Crowder.
Did you hear the Jimmy quote that he said to Dragic?
Yes, he's gonna kick his ass.
Threatened him with violence.
Yeah,
and Dragic was like laughing. You're like, yeah, I don't think he's kidding though.
He's not kidding. He's about to show up. He's about to show up in fucking Serbia with his fucking boots on and a cowboy hat.
I think it's Slovenia, isn't it?
Slovenia. I don't. Who fucking knows?
I think it's Slovenia.
All those. Yeah, you literally know. Listen, all those Balkans. Listen, all that Balkan trash melds together. Greece, baby, number one. It's time for some ethnic. It's time for some old school white on white, European on white European racism.
Well,
That's
Slovenia's big three is Dragic, Luka, and Melania Trump. So
that's right. That's a nice big three right there. You know, the one we mentioned a little bit, the Christian Wood signing in with the Rockets. I think that's a solid signing, and I'm kind of surprised more people weren't all over him. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a perfect example of who the fucking Hornets should have signed. Perfect example of who the fucking
Yeah,
Hornets should have signed.
good
A
call.
big man who shoots the fucking three. Why the fuck are you paying
they
Gordon
gonna-
Hayward?
Is Harden gonna be stuck there?
That's a very interesting question, man. I don't know. I mean, having
'Cause
Wood,
you can't just trade Harden for nothing.
you certainly can't. You certainly
Like,
can't.
I don't want an angry Harden on my team. I also don't want Karis LeVert instead of him. You know?
Totally. I think as it stands now, they can't get anything for Russ, and I think they just have to be like, all right. I think they just have to do what the
John
fucking
Wall
Lakers.
for Russ. Would you do it straight up if you're the Rockets or no?
At least I know Russ is fucking running. That's the
Yeah,
thing. It's
that's
like
a tough thing. I think
that's
Russ
like
is more value.
if Wall had just looked okay, I don't think he has more value. Honestly, I think they have equal-ish value. I just like.
I think
if
he's more value in that he's played the last 2 years.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I think maybe in the mid season I would do it. Who knows?
Really?
But I think, yeah, I mean, just because you want a guy with some talent, some upside for Westbrook, I don't know what the fuck else you're getting.
They both have just huge contracts and shit, man. If I'm Tillman Fertitta, I know I'm smoking some sweet
cushy dreams. That's the only thing. The only thing that might help Tillman Fertitta rest and be able to forget his troubles, that his shitty casinos are going out of his shitty casinos and shitty restaurants are going out of business, and that his two MVPs want out of his franchise. The only thing that might help him is the high quality CBD flower that our friends over at Cushy Dreams offer you from the very comfort of your home. You don't have to go to some. You don't have to. Yeah. You don't have to go to some dispensary. You don't have to fucking, text some guy that a friend of a friend recommended and get in his car and pay him in cash. This is all above board. This is all legal, 100%. And it's you smoke it. You don't want to fucking eat gummies like a baby. What are you, a fucking baby? No, you're a man. You smoke, or a woman, you smoke your CBD. And that's what they offer you, whether you have it in a fucking pre-roll, in a 1 gram sort of pre-roll joint situation, or in an eighth, 3.5 grams in a vacuum sealed container. Put it in your own shit, put it in a little bong, put it in a little pipe, roll up your own, spliffs, whatever the fuck you want to do. It's available from our pals at Cushy Dreams.
If you're a Charlotte Hornets fan, you smoke some. You look at that Gordon Hayward contract, you're like, I don't think 120 is enough.
That's not bad. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't. Next year's Charlotte Hornets City Edition jersey is the Blue Lives Matter. It's the Punisher skull with the Hornet wearing a Punisher skull with a blue streak down the middle, and you puff that CBD, you puff that Cushy Dreams. You're like, yeah, that looks pretty good.
MJ is just like, cops buy City Edition jerseys too.
So if you want to smoke that, smoke something nice that has all the positive benefits of marijuana, but none of the negatives, you're feeling good. You got a nice little buzz, but you're not that crazily fucked up. You want to go over to our friends at Cushy Dreams. That's KUSHY dreams.com. Use promo code PODDON'T, PODDONT. That's PODDON'T, and you will get 20% off your first order. What a steal. You need to do that. That's good shit, baby. So you definitely want to get that in the mix.
Because you can.
Yeah, you want to smoke your CBD because you can. But anyway, Tillman Fertitta, unfortunately, when he's not smoking CBD, has to look at his roster and really wonder what's happening. Although, I think 3 years, $41 million for Wood seems
good,
to
but
be.
Covington just fit that team well. I don't know, man.
Well, you know what?
Maybe Wood's better, I guess, because he's a bigger guy.
Does he? You need a center. I mean, look, I think you probably need a fucking center one way or the other.
PJ Tucker's got to be like fucking hurting at this point of his career. It's so much. He does so much dirty work. What's going on with Eric Gordon?
He just has a bad contract. There's nothing going on with him.
But he's still there. Okay, so
Yeah. I mean, if I was PJ Tucker, I'd be trying to get traded to somebody that would re-sign me to a fucking big extension because he's on a 1-year deal right now.
Who do you think will do that? Who will sign him to a big deal?
I don't know. In fact, we haven't heard anything about that.
He's an older guy. He's been terrific, but he's an older, undersized player. He's really done what he's done through like sheer tenacity.
There's been nothing. There's been no like real traction on or any rumors about him. I think because everyone is so focused on whether Harden is going to get traded, and then after him, it's Russ. So, I don't know. I mean,
it's clear Harden wants out. I just don't know where you put him. There was someone I saw post a thing about CJ and Nurkic and someone else, but I'm like, I don't know if Harden and Lillard work as great as they both are.
No, well, I don't think that makes any fucking sense, really. Yeah. I think if you trade, I mean, you know what? I'm not going to say it doesn't make any sense. I just don't think it does for not for Nurkic. I think if you're the Blazers, you're not putting Nurkic in that trade. I mean, I don't know. You're not putting both. You're not putting both CJ and Nurkic. I mean, it's that we're not talking about what Harden is worth. We're talking about
CJ's not. I mean, I'd rather have CJ than LeVert right now. I think, yeah, for sure. But I mean, who knows? LeVert could develop into a stud, but
yeah.
I mean, CJ's not an all-star though. As terrific as he is,
right?
Harden is a perennial fucking MVP.
Yeah, he's the MVP. He's an MVP. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe am I overvaluing Nurkic? I just think if you do that, what's interesting? If they do that, they basically can play the way the Rockets played this year, like micro ball. But yeah, doesn't work. And
you did that because Russ's jump shot just disappeared.
And Dame does not have that issue whatsoever. Anyway, yeah. So a lot of we talked
back with Covington again.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
It took 2 first-rounders to get Covington. You think you're gonna get fucking Harden for?
Well, that's the thing. You're not getting value. You're not getting value for fucking for Harden at this point.
That's the hard part. Is like, but look what the Lakers had to give away for AD. Look what the fucking Clippers had to give away for Paul George. That's why I'm like, if you get any less than that for James Harden, no.
Right. And I mean, honestly, look what even Drew Holiday needed similar.
I just don't know what you do though, because the Rockets just aren't winning. So it's they're in like a weird purgatory right now.
They're not winning, but the thing we always forget is that these are. I mean, what we were talking about with Fertitta, these are just businesses on some level, and it's like they're not winning, but getting to being the fucking 6th seed in the West, getting playoff revenue, being on TV.
It's basically just like the Rockets are Grey's Anatomy. Is it good?
Yeah, dude.
No.
Exactly.
But Ellen Pompeo still fucking cashing checks.
Exactly right. Remember. Exactly right. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what the Rockets do, but the Wood signing is good. It's solid. I'm kind of surprised more people weren't going after him. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say I fucking watched the guy that much. I watched some highlights. I didn't catch that many Pistons games.
He seems like a good player.
Yeah, and he really popped.
The Pistons let a homegrown guy just go for all these other dudes they signed.
It is weird. It doesn't make any. I mean, you would rather have him than Plumlee, you'd think. But
I guess Plumlee just makes more sense along. It sounds like they picked Jeremy Grant over him. And look,
why didn't you just have both? Why not just have both?
I think they're kind of. I mean, Wood's more of a big, but they're kind of do similar things.
No, Wood plays 5. Wood plays a 5.
Yeah, I guess. But they're both kind of stretch guys, I don't know if you play them together, you're getting a lot of rebounds, are you?
I don't know. See, I'm not really sure. I don't really know Wood's game that much. I just know he's a versatile offensive guy and a solid rim protector, but I actually don't know how good a rebounder he is off the top of my head. Anyway, any other big move? I mean, that's the thing. We probably missed some stuff that we will sop up in a future.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that I
Subscribe to
just
that
saw.
Patreon, by the way. Pod don't lie.
Yes,
Patreon.com/pod don't lie.
patreon.com/pod don't lie. We are gearing up for the new season. We can't wait to fucking, I can't wait for fucking games to start, honestly. And in the meantime, in between, we'll probably have a couple really fun guests. But some other just quick stuff. Jay Crowder, like I said, Miami loses him, and he goes to Phoenix, which is loading up. They're pretty interesting.
Phoenix is fun. Jay Crowder was great until the finals where he couldn't buy a bucket, and then
Yeah, but
but his defense rules. He's a tough guy. I've been singing the praises of Phoenix and their offseason. I love
great
it.
offseason.
I love
Great
Bridges.
offseason.
Part of me is like, shit, I wish we signed Bridges over Knox because he just seems like he's going to be like a long-term Trevor Ariza type. I really dig him.
Bridges is really good. Yeah.
And then Aiden, I think, has a big year with Chris Paul. And then
Yeah.
you look at some of the moves they made. I think they should have made a real run at Gallinari, but
Yeah. Yeah. They should have probably tried to use that. They had some cap space, and they end up using some of it on Jay Crowder. And now they have to figure out what they're going to do at backup center. They still have, technically, I think they still have Saric and Baines on the roster, but they're not re-signed yet. So
they absolutely fell in their Poon power rankings, losing Kelly Oubre. But the
That's
defense
true.
is much improved. You bring in
Yep.
Chris Paul.
Oubre fucks a lot more than Chris Paul, without even question.
Chris
As
Paul
good as
is not a fun lay. There's no way.
there's no way he's but he might be methodical. He might really do a good job, but there's no passion to it.
Plays too hard in the games. He's too tired. Like he'll go down on you, but he's got like ice packs on his knees.
Yeah, after you eat your pussy, he just has his tongue wrapped in ice packs, and he's just sitting in a fucking jacuzzi with his dick sticking out, and you just have to suck the top of it while he's in recovery.
I'm excited. They're actually one of the top teams I'm excited to watch this year.
Yeah. And some other low-key small deals. Brad Wanamaker goes to Golden State, which I think is actually a really good move.
Yeah,
and
smart move.
the Celtics picked up Jeff Teague, which I got to be honest, I kind of threw his name out there, but if you're the Celtics, if you're the Celtics, though, I would kind of rather have had Wanamaker at less money.
Really?
I think so.
Well,
I mean,
I think Teague gives you a vet.
He's
like 32. I mean,
but Wanamaker's a better defender, and if you're looking at a backup, it's like I don't know.
Right. I don't know. Teague, I don't love him at this point of his career, but he was like what 10-6 or 10-5. I mean, he's still a productive.
Yeah, he's not bad, and he was good. And
I think he's a good off the bench guy. I think the starter is a stretch.
I think so too.
I don't give the Celtics any love, but
one cool thing that I will say that Denver did, even though they did seem to sort of fuck up their big parts of their offseason, is they signed Facundo Campazzo from Real Madrid, who is like, he's just kind of in that, we see it happen all the time. It happened with Theodosic before. He's like that older point guard that comes in from Europe that's just a fucking crazy playmaker. Yeah. So,
Theodosic looked like he fucking smoked a pack of Camels every
That's right.
He looked like in a permanent state of just the worst hangover you've ever had.
He looked fucked up.
He would do like an elbow pass and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's the dude at your rec center where you're like, oh shit, I guess this guy's killing me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you see him, you're like, fuck this guy. And then he just like sleepwalks through fucking behind the back passes and shit. But I love it's the Euro. This is the Euro report. I love when a fucking middle, like almost 30-year-old European player comes into the league and just says, fuck it, let's play in the NBA. And so that'll be an interesting one.
And I will say this: you gave the European report. I'm giving the Julius Randle report. Get that guy off my fucking team. I want Obi Toppin in minutes. Why is he still on the Knicks? Someone must want him.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Nobody does though. Actually, that's kind of the problem. Literally, no one likes him. And Millsap's back with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
These are the main points. If we miss something,
great for like 20 minutes a game, he's
not bad.
He's solid, but also
I would have liked them to improve that spot, like if they were to have a better offseason. But let's put it this way: Denver's offseason wasn't good. Maybe it was
on Dallas.
Yeah, that's not. Not a bad idea.
You need kind of a tough guy next to Porzingis, just in terms of like width. You just need a big body.
A nice meaty boy out there.
Yeah.
Oh, one fun thing is that Kent Bazemore just re-signed with the Warriors, which is like
Yeah.
it's
Love
like
it.
he was there before they got their championships, and now he's going after everyone's torn all their fucking ACLs and shit. But he's back,
He got
baby.
paid. Remember when the Hawks paid him like 70 something million? I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Totally.
You paid him and Dwight Howard, the
Yeah.
most giant fucking contracts.
Yes.
Well, anyway, yeah, I mean, he's like a nice like end of your bench guy. You've got Pascal, who's going to take a lot of his minutes. Who I like Pascal a lot.
Yeah, it's just fun to have him get the reunion.
I'm
You
just
know what I
bummed
mean?
Clay is out the whole year. It's really the worst news.
I know it sucks. It really fucking sucks. But good for getting back to the Bay now that they won't win anything this year. But we'll see. Anyway, a very eventful draft and free agency. Maybe we'll do a little more, just kind of a holistic recap on this week's Patreon. Talk about the teams we're really interested. We really can't wait to see. And obviously if something happens soon, something might happen. We will cover it if there's some big trade or something like that. But it looks like Marc Gasol that's the one thing we should mention. If the Lakers get so the Lakers have done a really good offseason.
That they re-signed KCP 40.
They got Trez. They got
Yeah.
Trez from the Clippers. Who is he the best fit in the world? Not necessarily, but it'll be interesting to see what he does.
As a second unit guy, LeBron's going to get him a lot of easy buckets.
Yeah, for sure.
And when they play together, and they got Schroeder, who I think will
Wes Matthews, who is really as a minimum guy, really fucking good. Had almost the exact same production as Danny Green last year, but made $14 million less. So that's huge.
Losing Rondo is going to hurt in the playoffs.
Rondo and Bradley, honestly, kind of hurts. I mean,
Bradley didn't even play in the playoffs. Rondo is a fucking game. Like, it's sad to see him.
I know.
Contender.
I know he didn't play in the playoffs, but between them, those guys were basically the starting point guard. You know what I mean? So it's like, who do you get to really? Do you have? I mean, Schroeder, I guess, is the answer to that.
Schroeder's got to have a big year, and I think he will. I think he's been terrific for OKC.
Yeah.
So.
So it's and look, if they get Marc Gasol now to fucking be the back to take Dwight's place, who is in Philly, by the way, that's going to be hilarious. That's
Dwight.
I love
this. Will end well.
I love every move until this one. This one's fucking, and also it's like, didn't he hate Daryl Morey because they ran him out of Houston with Harden?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
I think
the
Dwight,
point is the
if he
Lakers
behaves, is a good backup big. I just don't know if he and Embiid are exactly kindred spirits. But
I definitely agree with that. But
I feel like I feel like Embiid's humor is more like cerebral, and Dwight's like doing like pranks.
Yeah, absolutely. There's gonna be Dwight is gonna put some bouillon cubes in the team showers, and everyone's like, "God damn it, Dwight, we smell like soup again." Anyway, so if the Lakers get Marc Gasol to replace him, that's fucking incredible.
Especially because you got a guy who can shoot threes now.
And who knows who they might be able to add from the scrap heap? It's like they still have a couple roster spots. It's LA. They cut Quinn Cook. They have space for people on veteran minimums, and also in the buyout market. Whenever that happens I guess it'll be February.
Yeah.
But anyway, very eventful stuff. We've been glued to our phones here, just getting a little, literally, Woj and Shams notifications constantly. But
grateful for their hustling, and dude, we're so close to the NBA starting. It's crazy.
It's crazy. We're a month. Literally, we're recording this on the 22nd of November, and the 22nd of December is when the NBA starts. That's fucking wild.
Love it.
Anyway, folks, thank you so much for listening. We will be back with a fresh Patreon for you Thursday or Friday. And
subscribe to leave us a nice review on Apple. Subscribe to the Patreon.
Oh, that's right. Next time we'll read. We're on a bit of a time crunch here, but next time we will read some fun reviews. So if you leave a particularly good 5-star review, we're not reading anything if it's not 5 stars, you fucking idiots. Leave us a 5-star review, and we'll read some of our favorites on the next episode.
And also, and if you also please subscribe to my YouTube because I think I'm dropping a special this week. So please keep your eye out
baby.
for that new comedy special. So,
That's right. New fucking pandemic special. It's going to be awesome. And also, I am selling my Stavros Halkias Stavi Baby 2021 calendars. Go to stavi.biz. And we have some. I'm fully nude. Oh, I got you one, baby boy. Don't you worry. One's coming your way. All right, folks. We will talk to you soon. Buy those calendars, stavi.biz. Go to Sam's YouTube channel and subscribe to the Patreon. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.